My name is Mary Ariopoulos, and today I will be discussing antitrust laws, as well as the case Epic Games Incorporated versus Apple Incorporated. So, in simple terms, antitrust laws prohibit anti-competitive conduct and mergers that deprive American consumers, taxpayers, and workers of the benefits of competition. Antitrust laws usually leave it up to the courts to decide if it's legal, which is called the rule of reasoning. And for over 100 years, courts have been applying these antitrust laws to the ever-changing business market to ensure that they protect the competition process for consumers, ensure businesses operate efficiently, and keep prices down, but also ensure quality stays up. There are key laws that set the groundwork for antitrust regulation. There's the Sherman Act, which prohibits activities that restrict interstate commerce and competition in the marketplace. Then there's the Federal Trade Commission Act, which gives the U.S. government the power to protect consumers and unfair competition amongst businesses. And the Clayton Act's goal is to promote fair competition and prevent unfair business practices that could harm consumers. And lastly, there's the Robinson-Patman Act, which prevents price discrimination based on buyers. And now I will be talking about the court case Epic Games versus Apple. So, Epic Games, who is the creator of Fortnite, sued Apple, claiming that they violated the antitrust laws in three ways. First, Epic claimed that there was a distribution restriction where Apple restricted app distribution by creating a walled garden, which basically means that the only apps approved by Apple can be distributed. Second, there was an in-app payment processing requirement where Apple created a monopoly by requiring developers to only use Apple's in-app purchase system. And lastly, an anti-steering provision where Apple limited developers and did not allow them to let users know about other alternate payment methods. But what Epic did do secretly was add code into their Fortnite app, which bypassed Apple's commission, which was 30%. And when Apple found out about this, they removed Fortnite from the App Store and they ended up countersuing for breach of contract for sneaking in this code. So, in Apple's defense, they stated that they did not violate antitrust laws and that their App Store provided value-added services that protects their users' security and privacy. Therefore, they were not harming the users, but instead protecting them. In addition, they stated that the commission rate of 30% that they charged was standard for a digital platform, and this did not create a monopoly. Now, the big question or issue is, did Apple violate the antitrust laws by specifically violating the anti-competition laws by monopolizing the market by only allowing apps to be distributed on iOS devices through Apple, forcing developers to only be able to use Apple's in-app payment system, and preventing users from knowing about other forms of payment options. Now for the rulings and rules. It was found that Epic did not prove that Apple violated the anti-competition laws. Therefore, the court ruled in favor of Apple. First, it was on the restraint of trade, where the court applied the rule of reason, and they found that the business competition is not harmed because it was justified by the benefits of providing the Apple users security, privacy, and intellectual property. And the second rule was on tying, where the court found that the in-app payment processing option and the app distribution store were not two separate products, but instead were considered one, meaning that you cannot force the consumer to buy product B if they only want to buy product A and vice versa. And lastly, there was the monopoly maintenance, where the court ruled that even though Apple is a major player, its power in the market would not last long since mobile game transactions are rapidly changing and the market will change. So Apple did not maintain its market by unfair means. But the court did rule in favor of Epic under the unfair competition law, where Epic stated anti-steering provision was unlawful by not allowing developers to be able to communicate to the users that there are other ways to pay. The court did find this unfair to both consumers and businesses. And then under the breach of contract, where Apple countersued because of the secret code Epic put into Fortnite, the court ruled in favor of Apple. and that Epic did breach the contract and it was valid and enforceable. This case ended up going to the appellate court, and the appellate court held the decision that Apple did not violate antitrust competition laws, and it also held the decision that Apple did violate the California unfair competition law. So, in summary, this case made a significant impact to the App Store industry for developers and consumers. It forced Apple to modify its policies to allow developers to provide links to other external payment methods within their apps. And this ruling ultimately helps our economy by allowing market competition. The court found that Apple did not violate the antitrust laws, but instead provided additional benefits such as security and privacy to the consumers by using the Apple platform. And the court also found that because the gaming industry is changing quickly, they did not monopolize the market by any unfair means. So, this ruling by the court does indeed help with innovation and allows speed to the market. But on the downside, if giant companies like Apple continue to be able to get around these antitrust laws by stating they provide additional benefits, then this may never end and smaller companies may not be able to flourish and grow. So overall, gaming and the technology market is constantly evolving at rapid speeds. Therefore, laws should be frequently relooked at when it comes to technology and gaming to ensure fairness amongst both the consumers and the businesses.